Hi, I'm Julia, Reference Librarian at McAllen Public Library. Welcome to the Virtual Traveler, where we'll be exploring the world using Google Street View. Be sure to stay tuned after the tour for some library book recommendations. Today we'll be visiting Marrakesh, Morocco in North Africa. Marrakesh is probably going to remind you of two places we visited already on our virtual tours: Cairo, Egypt, and Andalusia, Spain. Morocco and Egypt are both predominantly Muslim countries in North Africa, and as we learned in our Andalusia tour, Morocco and Andalusia were part of the same Muslim caliphate or empire for almost 1,000 years. That's why so much of the architecture you'll see here in Morocco, with the bright, sunny courtyards and fountains, is similar to the architecture we saw in Andalusia. Morocco is a coastal country in northwest Africa that has coastlines on the Mediterranean Sea and Atlantic Ocean. It's right across from the Strait of Gibraltar at the southern tip of Spain, and is actually visible from there. The official languages in Morocco are Arabic and Berber, and French is also widely spoken. Moroccan culture is a blend of Berber, Arab, Sephardic Jewish, West African, and European culture. It is a member of the Arab League, the African Union, and the Union for the Mediterranean. The area has been inhabited since the Paleolithic times, around 190,000 to 90,000 BC, when the climate of North Africa was greener and more fertile than it is now. The capital city of Morocco is Rabat, and the largest city is Casablanca, where the famous classic movie is set. The city we're visiting today, however, is Marrakesh. Marrakesh was founded in 1070 AD and was one of the country's 4 imperial cities, along with Fez, Rabat, and Meknes. The walls of the city and many other buildings that were constructed around 1122 were made from red sandstone, giving the city the nickname Red City. Later in the 16th century, Marrakesh was embellished with lavish palaces such as the El Badi Palace, built in 1578. Later in the 17th century, the city became a popular pilgrimage spot for Sufis, or practitioners of Islamic mysticism, because of the 7 patron saints who are entombed there. Marrakesh is most famous for its Medina Quarter, a historical area of the city behind historic fortified walls with narrow maze-like streets. This district is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and is packed with many traditional marketplaces or souks. It is also where the Kasbah is located, which is home to the Citadel and Royal Palace complex. Today, Marrakesh is one of the busiest cities in Africa and has thrived as a tourist destination since the 1960s, particularly among the French. Everyone from Yves Saint Laurent to the Beatles to the Rolling Stones to Jean-Paul Getty has spent significant time in Marrakesh. The tourism industry is the reason for the lavish and historic hotels we're seeing in this video, which are converted from stately old mansions, or riads, some dating as far back as the 1500s. The real estate market is also thriving as people buy riads in the historic Medina Quarter and update them with modern amenities. If you're a fan of one of my favorite TV shows, House Hunters International, you might have seen some of these homes. However, it's important to remember that despite the thriving tourism and real estate industries and the lavish hotels and palaces we're seeing here, the majority of the city's inhabitants are economically disadvantaged. As recently as 2010, 20,000 households in Marrakesh still had no running water or electricity. One can only hope that the success of the tourism industry will lead to more jobs and more opportunities for the majority of the city's inhabitants. This was Julia, and thank you for watching. Be sure to follow MPL Adults on Facebook and McAllen Public Library on YouTube, and don't miss any of our virtual programs.